Dear defenders, this is day 988 of Russia's catastrophic invasion of Ukraine. More than 100 Russian kamikaze drones attacked Ukraine overnight. Russian terrorists desperately pushing towards Pokrovsk. Belgium helps Ukraine fight Russian drones. Ukrainian president announced opening of two biggest airports in Ukraine. And the Terrorist Federation censored its most famous intellectual shows on a TV. You're watching Only Facts with Operator Starsky, and we will talk about the most important updates right now. Tonight, 106 Russian kamikaze drones attacked several cities of Ukraine. More than 30 Shaheds were shot down over Kyiv. In total, 74 were intercepted, and 25 more got lost over Ukraine. Explosions in 6 districts of Kyiv were reported. There were several fires in the civilian housing quarters. Even despite numerous shortages faced by the Russian people, they keep desperately spending money on building more drones to kill Ukrainian citizens. The air alert in Kyiv lasted for 8 hours. People were occupying subway stations and bomb shelters. Unfortunately, several families had their homes destroyed by the Russian drones. Here's what the citizens say about the terrorist Russian attack.
Я побігла в коридор, там пару хвилин пройшло, вийшла, в мене нема вікон ніде. Це в нас вже вдруге, я залишаюсь без вікон, і перший раз навіть без дверей, тому стан нормальний.
In Odessa, explosions were also reported. Again, we have damaged residential areas and wounded civilians, but luckily nobody died tonight. In Zaporizhia, Russian terrorists attacked more residential buildings and a hospital. We have wounded, but again, luckily everyone survived. It seems like the Russian terrorists are trying to burn all they have in the desperate push towards Pokrovsk. 148 attacks were reported yesterday, almost two-thirds of them on the Kurakhova direction. Fresh footage shows at least 5 destroyed Russian BMP-82. According to the terrorists, the burned Russian personnel that fertilizes Ukrainian soil feels just fine. They will recover soon. At the same time, Russians gained several more square kilometers in the area of Toretsk and Novoalexeyevka, that is, in the Pokrovsk direction. Also yesterday, Russian terrorists conducted in total 4,000 artillery strikes and dropped 146 gliding bombs on the peaceful cities, while the Western leaders still can't decide whether to allow Ukraine use proper weaponry to hit Russian military air bases. Belgium will help Ukraine fight terror Russian drones. The company Thales Belgium will produce missiles designed to intercept Russian UAVs. These missiles can be used within a radius of 3,000 meters and cost much cheaper than expensive long-range missiles utilized by the Ukrainian air defense. Ukrainian president announced that before February 2025, 2 biggest Ukrainian airports will start functioning again. We're talking about the main Ukrainian hub, Boryspil International and Lviv International. My personal opinion, it is way too early, and since Russians increased their daily Shahed strikes, apparently the airports will remain closed most of the time due to the air alerts. But we will see whether the Ukrainian government has any solution to this. In the meantime, Ukrainian president visited Hungary to participate in the European summit. You can see just how much happy are both President Zelenskyy and Hungarian Prime Minister Orban. Their welcoming faces literally shine from joy. Do you want to know who else is happy? The most prominent Russian neo-Nazi Alexander Dugin and Russian ex-dictator Dmitry Medvedev were seen celebrating Trump's victory on Twitter, but it's not what you think. I must explain a really important thing. Before and during elections, emotions are always artificially raised in the society to a dangerous degree. But the Russian communication strategist and sloppy cock Ilya Gambashidze is paid by Russia today to raise them beyond the limit. During the presidential elections in the US, Gambashidze utilized absolutely enormous resources to sow panic and discord in the American society. Sloppy-cocked used astronomical number of fake people in the social media to convince the voters that a wrong choice will lead the country to an apocalypse. Dear viewers, wrong choice in the United States may definitely lead to a disaster, but not an apocalypse. And while terror Russians expected revolts, uprisings and chaos, nothing like that happened in the United States. Please don't underestimate citizens of your country, okay? No matter what you think of your neighbors or politicians, the US remains the world's leading economy and military power, and it will stay like that at least for the closest decades. In 2019, during the presidential campaign in Ukraine, the main narratives against both candidates Poroshenko and Zelenskyy were that Poroshenko was accused of corruption and connections with the Russian oligarchs. At the same time, Zelenskyy was blamed of a complete lack of understanding of war. The main rumor was that Zelenskyy was gonna give up the whole country to Putin. As soon as he won, he was congratulated by all kinds of Russian Nazis, including Putin himself, because this is what they do to demoralize you every single day. And to cheer you up, the Destitute Federation banned its most popular intellectual shows. It's, when there's a bunch of recognized think tanks in the studio struggling to solve a mystery or to answer a question. I watched them myself when I was a kid, and I must say that those shows raised whole generations of smart people and intellectuals in the post-Soviet space. So officially Russians banned a number of those shows, including What, Where, When and Brain Ring, because they were allegedly discrediting Russian authorities. And I cannot agree more, the most discrediting thing for Russians is literally being smart. I've never seen Russians so openly fighting against IQ. For example, it is a known fact that Ukrainian word «svidomый», used to describe a conscious, educated person, turned into a popular curse in the Russian culture. You can often see talking heads on the Russian TV using the Ukrainian word conscious as a slur towards Ukrainians. Apparently, it makes Russians extremely proud to be world's recognized degenerates. With that, my friends, I wish you all a beautiful day. Please share your thoughts and opinions in the commentaries. I'm Operator Starsky. As always, be safe.